Hello.
Hello.
Hi, James.
That was the extended mega mix.
That was like the full Ibiza version, like the B side that's twice as long and it goes slower. That isn't what I don't know what Ibiza
It's got that.
is,
It's got that bit where Will Smith raps about being on a plane.
What is that a reference to? Are you drinking out of a deodorant can there?
Yeah,
What is that?
Yeah, this is Lynx.
150th episode. I'm wearing a party hat.
Mm.
I'm wearing a party hat. Is that no? Now is it visible there? Can you see that? Is it gonna?
Oh,
come on!
hey!
Also, if we need an impromptu hoedown, check this out.
Oh yeah.
So that's the two things the hat can do.
Yep. Okay. So end the strip. No, don't.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Enjoyed that. A party popper and elastic. The power of elastic.
When did they discover or invent elastic?
Great question. Great question, James.
No one knows. No one knows.
Throw it to the chat.
Throw it to the chat.
If anyone knows when they invented elastic.
When did they think, I like string, I like rubber? Can we get these two together?
A really stretchy string, because it is going to make children's Halloween masks way more manageable. Yeah. I think the exact changeover from the creepy Victorian masks that are just a sack with a demon's face on it to the cool plastic ones. Elastic. That's
with a demon's face on it.
With a demon's face on it. But it's not as scary.
No. But yeah, I guess at some point someone went, I like this string. I want it longer, but not all the time.
Bethan Briggs Miller suggests the 1940s for elastic. I don't know if that's based on any information.
Is it one of them? Is it like radar? It was helped by war.
We've got facts here, but based on the confidence of the capitalization, the first elastic bands made from vulcanized rubber were patented on March 17th, 1845 by Stephen Perry of Messrs. Perry & Co.
Oh, nice one, so Perry & Co.
1845 for elastic bands.
We've also got someone saying after Jesus times. Thanks, Ropes of Sand.
It was after Jesus times, wasn't it?
Yeah, because otherwise you'd be able to explain away quite a lot of his miracles.
Do you think who's using elastic for?
Yeah, mostly miracles? For Lazarus.
I'd love that. So he went down and twonged.
Yeah, just poinged him. Just poinged him around the place.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Well, welcome, Lore folk, to the 150th episode recording live stream event.
You're listening to and watching Loremen, which is a podcast and live stream about local legends and obscure curiosities from days of yore. I didn't say that right, did I? I've never said it correctly. Is that how it goes?
I think so, apart from the bit at the end where you said I didn't say that right, did I?
Oh, okay, right. All right, good. Is my hair still frizzed up from the hat? Yeah.
It's a little frizzed. Someone said, what a shocking bad hat.
What? I'm putting it back on now. All right, there we go.
Point.
There, that's what I think of you. Well, there's some bad frizz going on there.
I don't think we're not hide. Whoa, right. No.
Yep.
Now you're a unicorn.
That's fine. That's how I meant it to go on.
Yeah, you've gone from
carry on like you don't look at the hat.
It's evidently a slippery slope from wizard to unicorn. You die a wizard, or you live long enough to see yourself become a unicorn, as Batman said.
Oh, I'm still giddy after that party popper.
I am as well. I had a little sniff. Oh, you got to have a little sniff and then blow it like you've just.
Do you?
Yeah, you got to.
like a cowboy. Like that.
Although it's cold enough in the shed that I don't need the extra bits.
It's as cold as a shed in my flat because I will not put the heating on.
Oh yeah, that's what that's what they want, isn't it?
Yeah. The blooming EU.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, welcome everybody. Hi, we've got lots of people in the chat. Hello,
the chat.
Oh, Cow David Lynch reference from Peter Larson. If you had two of those party hats,
the cow David Lynch. I don't
remember when you were David Lynch as a cow once.
No.
No.
How could that have happened? In an episode of this podcast, I was David Lynch as a cow. That's ridiculous.
How could that possibly happen?
I just forget the content of the episodes after they go out. And just constantly surprised and delighted.
Yeah.
David Lynch as a cow. How whimsical.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's an Edinburgh show. We've got lots of lovely words from people, and also I've been checking out the reviews that we've been getting online.
Reading the reviews of our podcast, Jack.
Yeah, we got some great ones.
Yeah.
This one from America, Arborean.
The America.
From the main America, the bigger. I think it's the bigger one. Honest to goodness, hilarious. Which is, I mean, that's a good start straight out the gates.
Yeah. I enjoyed the homespun Yankee wisdom of it.
Of honest to goodness.
Yeah.
Which I think that's the sequel to The Honest and the Good, isn't it? Pretty sure. They say that I love this podcast. If you like folktales, history, and just great humorous banter, give this a listen. Almost every episode has bust out laughing moments.
Almost.
Yeah, I'd like you, Arborean, to give me a list of the ones that don't, and I'll explain to you why you're wrong.
Or I will, in a strop, delete them forever. Oh, not funny. Gone. So think carefully before you tell us which episodes aren't funny.
Children of the 90s and British humour fans will probably get an extra kick out of it. Quite right. Right.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then
that is the words of someone who has Googled Noel Edmonds.
Loads. Do you think he's an example of British humour?
He's British.
Yeah, he's laughable.
Yeah, and he is laughable, yeah. But Noel Edmonds is essentially the British sense of humour given form. And
yeah, he is. I'm afraid.
Did I say Noel Edmonds or Mr. Blobby? I meant to say Mr. Blobby. Did I just say Noel Edmonds?
You said Noel Edmonds.
I said Noel Edmonds. People in the chat, if I say the wrong words, correct me.
But don't, because it will
Mr.
go off.
Blobby is I will be out. I will walk. There's no door that way. That's a wall. But I'll do it.
Like someone playing a video game for the first time. Just walk.
Yeah, I'll just walk
at a wall.
Yep, just doing the full walking animation, but not actually going anywhere. I meant to say Mr. Blobby was the manifestation of the British id.
Yeah, I'd give you that.
Sense of humour. And Edmonds is inextricably linked to Blobby. Where Blobby goes, there you will find Edmonds.
Yeah, it's like he is the stinging nettle. No, he's the dock leaf to Noel Edmonds' stinging nettle.
Yeah.
I think. There was a lot of Blobby chat on the internet because it was Blobby's birthday the other day. And it got frightening. It really got frightening. Most other reviews are just the sea, and the wife likes it, which is a lovely reference to a recent episode.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, so thanks very much for everyone for reviewing. And if you haven't reviewed,
what are you playing at?
Look at yourself.
Quite disrespectful at this point not to have reviewed it. 150 episodes.
Yeah.
Over the course of, I haven't got time to count, approximately 100 years we've been doing this.
And maybe 2 series of unequal length.
We've done roughly 2 series of podcast. You know what we should do to really annoy everyone? The next series should be called Season 5. Just to be super inconsistent and really irritate people.
I was thinking of we should do like just a 2-episode series.
Can we do a 2-episode season 5 and then just go back to series 4?
Oh, yeah, lovely.
The season 4 redux. I
like it. So, I was trying to think of what's happened to me recently. I've not been attacked by bats or maggots.
No,
or anything
of the
really.
Supernatural left you alone.
I've had a reasonably normal time.
I went to Cardiff and stayed in the worst hotel in Cardiff, I believe. I don't want to say its name, but it used to be called the Big Sleep, which is a phrase that means death and is therefore a bad choice of a name for a hotel, I think.
Is it now called the Broken Sleep?
It's now called the You Won't Die Hotel. They changed it because people were getting worried and confused. So that's what I did.
That's not bad. I went to Bristol. I went to that Bristol and I recorded a different podcast for a bit, which I think is going to come out sometime.
I don't like other podcasts.
You don't like this podcast?
Not really. Don't listen to it. David Lynch is a cow. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, it's a bit weird for you.
A bit too whimsical for my tastes.
Magpie Rat says that hotel is now known as Dirt Naps, which also has a weird double meaning.
Sorry, I just started reading the chat there.
Yeah,
Zoom out from season 4
funny.
to reveal a snow globe. Is that the end of Saint Elsewhere? So finding out that the whole thing happened inside a snow globe.
Did it?
I thought
that was the end. Spoiler alert of the War of the Worlds.
Is it?
No, the other one. The other one by the other one by the War of the Worlds guy. The film, not the third
H.G. Wells, The Invisible Man.
No, the
Time Machine.
Not H.G. Wells. The other Wells.
Orson Welles. Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane. It turned out it was all inside a snow globe, right?
That is not. Yeah, that's that. No, I can't even jokingly pretend that's the ending of Citizen Kane. Absolutely not. It starts with a snow globe, James.
Ends with a skateboard. That would be the remake of Citizen Kane.
And then the thing is, sledges don't work over water, so young Citizen Kane can't escape the bullies.
Yes, and because you got Citizen Kane, and
young
then
Citizen Kane,
his great grandfather, Citizen Kane,
and the character young Citizen Kane, crucially, is referred to as young Citizen Kane in full every time.
His name is
mentioned. So none of that is going to make it into the edit.
No, unless we do.
We started late, so apologies for that. I think I better just whip out and dazzle you with a ghost story.
Oh yes,
I think I better just whip out a ghost story and dazzle you with it. Is what I meant to say there. I'm tired and overexcited. All right. Okay. James, would you like to hear the story of a road ghost?
Yes, I would.
You like road ghosts?
They're my favourite format of ghost.
What is it about a road ghost you like so much?
There's a few different types. The main two is the hitchhiker and the sort of, I can't think of a nicer way of saying it than the ghost hit and run. Where someone thinks
we're more in number 2 territory.
Yes,
we're more in the second category here.
Yeah, those are my two favorite ones, really. And they happen on the road. The roads I find are quite spooky places. I think because I grew up in the countryside, so all the roads I know are country lanes.
They didn't have roads there, and they were sort of brought in as a frightening modern invention.
No, and someone was like, roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
A field.
Yes.
Actually, you would need a road. That's the one place you would be saying, can we have a road here, please?
Just a little bit of road, please.
So today's story is the Ruskington Horror.
Ooh.
That's quite a good name, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like a baby's biscuit.
Yeah,
like a really bad one.
Ruskington is not the town where rusks were invented. It's a place in Lincolnshire.
Oh.
And the Ruskington Horror was investigated by the Fortean enthusiast, but not paranormal. Just going to say that again. The Ruskington Horror is a 9-part investigation that's been published in the Fortean Times by Dr. to you, James, Dr. Rob Gandy. Which is not a good advice because he only had that loincloth. So you actually...
Oh, you're going to get us some specs.
Yep. Okay, so as an obligatory joke about that man's name aside, obviously Rob Gandy is a living person. He's a health statistician and visiting professor at Liverpool Business School at Liverpool John Moores University, which sounds like it's got a typo in its name, but it's a real. I've checked; it's a real university. He's a lifelong Fortean, but he's not a paranormal expert. He's a lifelong Fortean, but he's not a paranormal expert. He's a collector of people's ghost stories, and he has collected together the tales of the road ghost, the Ruskington Horror.
Ooh.
Now, this is crucial. Gandy did not coin that name. The name was coined by, I think, a folklorist you will have heard of, James. Many of the listeners will have heard of this folklorist. Some of the Americans perhaps will not. That person is television's Richard Madeley.
Whoa.
That's not what you were expecting, was it?
No.
And I know sometimes I say TV's this and that when it's somebody with the same name as a television celebrity from the UK. No, I'm not doing that. I'm talking about television's Richard Madeley from Richard and Judy.
Wow.
From This Morning with Richard and Judy.
He's like sort of Noel Edmonds, but without a beard.
Yeah, yes, he is. But I think that's a little unfair on Judy, because that's casts Judy as his Blobby, whereas I don't think.
No, yeah, I
I
not
don't think she
intend for
is.
that. No. But that also implies that Noel Edmonds is married to Mr. Blobby.
That's true. So, do you want to explain who Rich and Judy are for anybody who has not heard of them? Because they're almost as legendary as Noel and Blobby.
They are a husband and wife presenting duo.
Yeah.
Who got big in the 90s and have just sort of rode it out. And
yep, they've just ridden it out. Yep.
Richard of Richard and Judy is Alan Partridge.
He's Alan Partridge.
And I don't think Steve Coogan has ever really acknowledged the fact that he is that Richard Madeley is Alan Partridge. It's like in Time Cop, like if they were to touch, it would be some sort of world-ending event.
Because they're so similar.
Because they are the same, one in the same.
There are online quizzes where
the same matter.
There are online quizzes where you have to work out whether a quote is a Richard Madeley quote or an Alan Partridge quote, and it is very tricky to work out which is which.
Unless it's about the Ruskington Horror, I guess.
So in 1998, someone called in to tell a terrifying tale about an incident on a road in Lincolnshire near Ruskington. And years later, Rob Gandy got in contact with all the people who were telling stories and sought out more tales of road ghosts from yellow bellies. Are you familiar with the term yellow belly?
Is that an Americanism?
No, not as in coward.
Okay. Just Richard Madeley going, come on, cowards. Tell me your stories. I'm going to Rob Gandy.
No, Rob Gandy was the one who sought out yellow bellies, but a yellow belly is a term for someone from Lincolnshire.
Oh. What's that got to do with Lincoln Green then? What's with all the colours in Lincoln?
Great question. Well, according to visitlincoln.com, there are as many theories about the origin of this term as there are yellow bellies themselves. So I've checked. That means there are 776,654 theories, which on the website, they've only got about 7. So that was a lie.
Good.
That was a lie. Visitlincoln.com. The most likely one, to my mind, is that the Lincolnshire Regiment wore yellow waistcoats as part of their uniform.
Right.
So that seems plausible. Or that Lincolnshire stagecoaches were painted yellow. That's another good theory. Another theory, I'm quoting from the website here, is that the rural deaneries in the Diocese of Lincoln used the name they had when they were Saxon wapentakes. I don't know how you say that word.
Is that like a hot take? But really, but like that's a thread.
It's like, wapentake it from the man. Go on, if you're talking to a child. Apparently, the Fen area, the Fen area was Ello Belly or Ye Ello Belly.
Oh,
meaning out of the boggy hole. I think that's absolute nonsense, because you don't say ye, you say thee. Nobody pronounces it ye,
that is true.
That's not true.
And the boggy hole sounds like where maybe the thing that birthed Blobby originally.
The blobby hole. So the least good theory, I think, is that Lincolnshire's fennel dwelling I'm saying that again. The least convincing theory, I think, is that Lincolnshire's fen-dwelling ancestors were susceptible to developing a yellow fungus on their stomachs in damp weather.
What?
Again, this is from the website visitlincoln.com. The people were covered in yellow. Clearly not true. Another theory is that the residents suffered from a malaria-like illness which turned their skin yellow. Again, visitlincoln.com is sharing this information. Revolting. So whatever the reason, that's why they call people from Lincolnshire yellow bellies. And Rob Gandy got in touch and found several stories of road ghosts. The first of them is the story that kicked the whole thing off. It's Kevin Whelan's story from 1998. Ooh. The one he told to the man himself, Richard Madeley, on This Morning with Richard and Judy. In January 1998, Kev Whelan, Kevin Kevlar Whelan. That's what his friends, me and James, call him.
Yep. Keep Whelan.
The Kevster was driving home to Sleaford. It was about 2:00 in the morning And as he was approaching the turnoff to Ruskington, he saw something white up ahead. Now, James, you drive. I don't know how to drive. You see something white, what you might think it's a plastic bag in a tree, or car headlights, or an owl. Yeah?
Probably an owl.
Probably an owl.
I'd like to think it was an owl.
Exactly. He didn't think anything of it. But as he drew closer, it appeared larger and larger.
Classic perspective.
That's it. If you want a podcast to explain the passage of time or perspective, this is it. But it was in the middle of the road, and it appeared to be like a glowing light pointing towards him, and above that light, a floating face.
Oh.
It was Greek-looking with dark hair and olive skin.
Okay.
And it was so clear he could make out the teeth and pitted skin of the face.
And the nationality.
And the nationality, which is that he was Greek. And he held up its left hand, which probably had some souvlaki in it, we don't know, as a warning to go no further. Now, this lasted for about 40 seconds, apparently, before Kevin's car went down into a dip and the Spectre disappeared. In his own words, after that, he bombed it home.
Nice one, Kevlar.
Nice, classic Kevlar.
Keep
Kevlar.
wheeling.
Oh, nice. Because of his surname. Brilliant.
Yep. His surname was Whelan for people who weren't paying attention.
So that was the first appearance of the Ruskington Horror. There have been many more. Christina Lee tells the story that her father used to tell. He was stationed at Royal Air Force, Cranwell.
Is her dad Christopher Lee?
I can only assume so.
Because he was also in the Air Force.
Yeah? Was he stationed at Royal Air Force, Cranwell?
I don't know that well.
Let's just assume he was Christopher Lee. And so he was stationed a stone's throw from Ruskington and the same stretch of road that we were talking about before. One night, he and 4 of his airman pals took a shortcut across the fields back to base rather than walk the long way round. You know, lads.
Fly guys.
But they get the job done, James.
They do.
I don't actually know when this happened. I don't know if this happened during the Second World War when these people were risking life and limb, or whether it happened in peacetime when they were living it up on our tax-paying dollars. I don't know. So I don't know how to feel towards them, warmly or resentful. All of a sudden, a pale, ghostly figure descended, James, presumably appearing to get larger as it did.
Yep.
And it held out a hand in a warning gesture. Well, our brave boys in their flying machines were not brave enough to keep going, so they turned tail and headed back towards the road, which they decided was the safer path after all.
Yeah, less ghosts.
Apparently, Christina's father always wondered what might have happened if they'd gone further over the marshy ground. Did the ghost save them from something? In both cases, the ghost seems to be trying to communicate a warning of some kind.
Oh.
That's ghost number 2. Or second encounter with same ghost.
Or ghost number 1, part 2.
Yeah. Now for part 3.
Trez.
The female taxi driver. I mean, there must be other female taxi drivers, but this is one of them. It's 2003. It's the spring. A taxi driver is passing the turnoff to Ruskington, having just dropped off a fare in Sleaford. It's 1 a.m. So I didn't expect you to gasp at Sleaford there.
Oh, well, it was the same place that you said earlier.
It's the same place. This is all literally the same place. It's kind of the premise of the podcast, actually, James.
Oh, yeah.
They're always about the same place.
I'll try to get over it.
Yeah. So, Sleaford. It's about 1 a.m. and a figure ran out in front of her car. And she saw the figure turn to look at her through the windscreen, or windshield to our American cousins.
Thank you.
Mouth wide open, as if screaming, but no sound came out. Boom! Car went straight through. And she didn't feel any kind of impact, but she was sure she had to have hit whatever it was that she saw. So she stopped and looked about, couldn't find anything, couldn't find anyone. In a state of absolute terror, she phoned into our office, who then called the police. The police came out. Nothing could be found. She was she was so shook up, James. She couldn't drive back. She had to get a lift home in the police car. and she quit her job the very next day.
Oh.
So that's why there aren't more female taxi drivers, probably.
Yeah, because of this ghost this time.
Because of a sexist ghost.
It
was like, stop being a taxi driver. It's a shame.
Yeah. Wow, what? Whoa. I mean, there can't be any more examples.
I have yet one more.
What?
I have one more ghost for you, or one more encounter with the same ghost. Part 4.
No. Cinque, no. Un, dos, tres. Quattro.
Quattro.
4.
Charlie Connolly, author, broadcaster, pedestrian, had a very strange encounter in Lincolnshire in 2007. He was researching his book And Did Those Feet, Walking Through 2,000 Years of British and Irish History. Of course, the title is referencing...
Sorry,
go ahead.
Oh, no. What is the title referencing?
And Did Those Feet is referencing Jerusalem, the William Blake poem. And did those feet in ancient times? The answer is no.
Were they Jesus? They were Jesus's feet.
The question is, did Jesus come to England? The answer is no.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
No, he didn't come to England.
His uncle Joseph brought him here.
Did he?
To
on a trip.
Glastonbury.
Yeah.
For the festival.
Yeah.
Fitted right in. And does the book, does it have a question mark at the end? Is it, and did those feet?
And it just has a colon. And did those feet, walking through 2,000 years of British and Irish history.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I'm just looking at people in the comments who could see I paused as I couldn't remember the name Jerusalem, who were shouting, Jerusalem! But fortunately, I remembered it before the chat caught up. People doing William Blake references. I'm not going to pick up on that. I'm not going to rise to it. You know I like a bit of Blake, but I'm not going to just start reading William Blake things out of the chat.
I hate you, satanic mill. That's William Blake from On the Buses.
Yeah, Dark Satanic Mills. It's like a Radio 1 DJ, isn't it?
Radio 2 now.
Radio 2, sorry.
And he does a lot of stuff for charity.
I met him. He was very nice.
He seems lovely.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yes. So he was following in the footsteps, quite literally, of King Harold's march from Stamford Bridge to Hastings. And he found himself on the A15. Well, James, the A15 is the very road we have been talking about, upon which the Ruskington Horror makes itself known. He was on the way to your friend of mine, Sleaford. Calm yourself, please. Now, he had miscalculated how long the walk was going to take. So he found himself unintentionally walking at the end of the day. Sun was going down. He was still on the side of the road. You can imagine it. Cars passing. Vroom, 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 vroom.
What are you doing?
Yeah. The lights flickering.
Who do you think you are, King Harold or maybe Jesus?
Yeah. The locals all covered in yellow mold, spilling out through the windows of their vehicles.
With their yellow stinking bellies.
Spores, just luminous yellow spores coming off them as they talk. So just normal Lincolnshire stuff. And then after a while, things got quiet. I want to say eerily quiet.
Yeah.
He noticed all the traffic had vanished. But he wasn't completely alone, because up ahead he saw a couple walking towards him. They were walking in the middle of the road, dressed quite unremarkably, although a little lightly for the time of year.
It's a bit much.
The woman had a coat over her arm, apparently. He said hello to them, and they didn't say anything at all. They said nothing in reply, so possibly Londoners. They passed him, and he thought to himself, oh, maybe their car has broken down up the road, and they're going for help. Well, I better turn around and tell them that there's no help in that direction, because I've been walking for ages and there's absolutely nothing. And he turned around to call after them like a good old bloke, like a blooming good bloke. Yeah,
blooming great guy.
Blooming great guy, good bloke.
Well, I'm guessing they were still there.
They were not there, actually.
Gasps.
Yeah. As he turned around, There was absolutely no one there. And he knew there were no roads for them to have gone down, no paths, no buildings. There wasn't a house for miles. Explain that.
And as he
they could have fallen into there were no bushes, probably. It's Lincolnshire, it's flat.
Oh, it is famously very flat.
Famously flat. I suppose they could have gone into a bog, but both of them. But even then, James, he began to ask himself as he walked on, why was the woman carrying her jacket over her arm on a chilly October evening? Why hadn't their breath fogged as it came out of their mouth, as Charlie's breath had fogged? Why were they walking in the middle of the road? Why did the traffic stop at that moment?
Yes.
And crucially, it was only when he got in touch with Rob Gandy. Shouldn't do that. You only got a long cloth. It was only when he got in touch with Rob Gandy that he came to realize that his mysterious time slip had occurred slap bang in the middle of the Ruskington horror focal point.
Oh.
He didn't even know that area was haunted when this happened, James.
Oh my word. But did he think they were Greek?
There was no evidence of them being Greek, although just a smell of sort of ouzo wafted over to him, perhaps. As, he could hear the sound of plates being smashed and other national stereotypes of Greece.
Yes.
Because I know all of them. I don't just know 3 things about Greece.
They were knocking up some Doric columns.
Yes, they were.
Inventing voting?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably. Democracy being the 2 people. They were initially a series of city-states with quite different ideologies. Togas. There you go. Of
course.
Well, actually, are togas Roman? Because the Romans wore them too. But did Romans wear them because Greeks wore them? Because every time a Greek came into school wearing some new bit of like no fear gear, next day all the Roman kids dressed the same.
Yeah. But with knives because they liked fighting.
Yeah,
famously more.
My favorite formation of Romans was the turtle, where they all get under their shields.
Oh yeah,
just chill.
We don't want to fight.
It's just all the lads together under a shield.
We can make a house. We can make a den.
Yeah, let's just crouch down. Yeah, do what you want.
Just a cool den.
The war's over for us. Spanakopita. That's another Greek food.
That is.
Thank you, Moonable, for saying spanakopita, a spinach pie. In case I didn't know what spanakopita is, it does sound like a helicopter, but it's not. Because it's totally different etymologically. So that's a fair whack of ghosts for you there.
That is.
But there are many explanations for why this area is so spooked up, James.
Go on.
First possibility is highwaymen.
Right.
These were busy roads, and back into old 18th century, they were thick with highwaymen. Local places are nicknamed things like Hangman's Haunt and Hangman's Hollow in the Ruskington region. Those names do not appear on any maps.
Oh.
But the locals will use them.
Okay. To just confuse people.
To confuse people. They'll say, first of all, take your jacket off, put it over your arm, off you go. There you go. Keep going until you see Hangman's Hollow. Which is the kind of place I imagine a hangman would be gibbeted near to the site of their crimes to deter would-be robbers.
I guess, would it be easier or more difficult to hang or gibbet someone over a hollow? Probably easier. You don't need to build your gibbet as high because the ground's lower.
Build them on the ground, then push them over the gibbet instead of hoisting.
Yeah.
Time saver.
Yeah.
Easy. Suggestion for you there, Lincolnshire.
Yeah.
That said, even though we were talking about a dip in the ground, Lincolnshire, if it's famous for one thing, it's being green. But the second thing, it's being flat. We're talking about fens here. Now, I think Kieran has a picture for us of Dunstan Pillar. Could we have that? That was so slick.
That is lovely.
How slick was that? Now, this is, you are looking at an engraving of Dunstan Pillar. What do you think this is, James? Now I'm going to ask that question again, but in a way that will work for a podcast. So, James, I'm showing you a picture of Dunstan Pillar, which is a very, very tall construction. It's on land. I emphasize that. It's been built on land, What do you think it is?
Is it one of them things that they make bullets in? Or they made bullets in the past?
How did they make bullets?
To make a shot, like, so to make spherical bits of lead. So right up the top, they melt lead and drip it down, and at the bottom would be water, and it got to a certain speed that it would turn into a sphere.
A perfect sphere, because nature loves a sphere, and that's is that how they made bullets? That's gorgeous.
Maybe that I think I've heard it, and I've never dared look it up on the internet because it's too nice a story. But I'm guessing that's not what they did in there.
No, because otherwise I would have heard about it.
Yes,
it's a lighthouse.
Oh.
It's an inland lighthouse.
Oh,
there's no water. There's no water, but the area is so flat, and the bogs and the fens are so dangerous that to help people guide themselves, they built an inland lighthouse to prevent highwamanism and to protect travelers. It was built in 1751. So perhaps the Ruskington Horror is the spirit of a hanged highwayman, or indeed a highwayman's victim.
Or the ghost of a light.
Or the ghost of a dead lighthouse.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for showing that, Kieran. The next possible explanation for why there would be general spooky business in this area is that the Knights Templar were involved.
Oh,
I'm shaking my head because these rascals are always up to generally spooky business. There are so few Knights Templar ruins in the United Kingdom, but Lincolnshire has got one of them, and it's called Temple Brewer Preceptory. And actually, I think we've got an engraving of that as well.
Whoa.
There you go.
Temple Brewer what now?
Preceptory.
It's TBP?
It's TBP, Temple Brewer Preceptory.
Wow.
Is a 13th century tower, which was once part of the Knights Templar Church, or Preceptory. And I think it's still there. And I think I can show you the picture of it still there by pretend. Oh no, there we go. There we go.
Oh,
and you can see they've the roof came back. That's just one of those things that sometimes happens with buildings.
That's magic.
Sometimes they don't have a roof, and then later on they do.
So,
explain that.
I didn't. It grew. Did they put manure around the base?
Yes, they just
and it grew.
They just grew it. Yeah, I guess so.
So wait. So where's? So that's square. So I'm guessing that's the square bit on the map.
Yes. So you can see there's a plan. The heavy square bit, it says tower now standing. So that's the only remaining part of it that's still a building at the time that floor plan was drawn. You can still see the parts of the outline of the circular church. And actually, if you Google it, you can see 3D models of what it might have looked like.
Ooh.
The inside of the preceptory is covered with, you know it, strange symbols.
Oh, no.
And I don't have any evidence, but I'm pretty confident that the monks were up to all kinds of spooky stuff, like in films.
Yeah,
so like really Ken Russell-y kind of business in there. Now, go for it. You were saying
I just wondered, is that why they were called the Knights Templar? Because they made a lot of temples?
I think Templar, yes.
They're just busy, I'm gonna say yes. Busy templing.
Yeah, they love to temple. Anyone want to correct us on that in the chat? My answer is yes. They are called the Knights Templar because they love a temple.
Because they yeah.
Because it's like Kevin, Kevlar, Temple,
Templar.
They were just absolute legends.
Nice.
So during this morning investigation, that is the folkloric investigation carried out by the television program This Morning of Fiction Duty in 1998.
Not when you did your research.
Not when I did my research. No, you cheeky rascal. They spoke to the psychic Shirley Wallace.
The psychic Shirley what?
The psychic Shirley Wallace. And if friend of the show Lady Wallace was irritating, psychic Shirley Wallace is well, here's why I'm annoyed. She said it was ley lines.
Oh, ley lines.
French for the lines.
French for the lines.
She said, she said that ley lines crossed under the area, causing a vortex or doorway to other worlds to open up. It's just that didn't happen. No, it
right. And it's a
and
doorway to Greece.
the other world was
and
Greece.
The guy going, no, no, thank you.
He was saying, watch out, it's Greece.
Careful.
Greece ahead. You say, watch out, there's a little bit of grease on the road. You go, it's all right. These are actually quite good tires. Oh, no. I'm in the Acropolis. I was misunderstood the meaning.
So wait a minute. The sidekick Shirley Wallace, did she have to differentiate herself from the standard Shirley Wallace?
I think you have misheard me. Psychic, not sidekick.
Oh,
it's like mental powers. Psychic, not the side.
The sidekick, Shirley
not loyal
Wallace.
sidekick, Shirley Wallace. So she claimed that a number of spirits were bound to the earth there, and perhaps we might draw the inference that they were responsible for the sightings. She did a cleansing ritual at that time to help the spirits move on, but it obviously didn't work because the ghosts are still happening. So, well done. Well done for being a liar, I think. Sorry, Shirley. I went a bit far there. I just don't like ley lines.
But she's bringing down the good name of sidekick Shirley Wallace and standard Shirley Wallace.
Yeah. Third possible explanation is witches.
Yeah.
Of course, there's loads and loads of witches. Both of the callers to the This Morning show were told tales of general witchery in the area. I have to add a quick sidebar here. An article from Folklore by Ethel H. Rudkin about Lincolnshire witches gathers together local beliefs about how you sort of catch and deal with your witches. And apparently there's a local saying, which is that the witches there are as black. I've got to get this right. Apparently there's a local saying, which is that the witches there are as black as the devil's nutting bag.
Whoa.
You heard me.
We know the devil loves nutting.
The devil loves nutting.
Especially on a Sunday. And
now we know what colour his nutting bag is.
Ever so dark.
So an example of a witch in the area being captured comes from Bayard's Leap, which you can find this story in friend of the show, Lore of the Land.
Oh, lovely.
Or Lore of the show, Friend of the Land. Bayard was the name of a blind white horse who was sort of picked to play his part in ridding the area of a troublesome witch. I'm not sure it was a voluntary thing. I feel like he was somewhat press ganged into this. Basically, they placed Old Meg, which was the witch's name, as in it's a classic witch name, as in Meg's Tea Room. Old Meg was popped up on Bayard the white horse's back and either grazed on the arm or stabbed to death. We don't know which.
It sounds like they'd already caught the witch.
Well, but you can't. It's like an exorcism, whatever the witch version of an exorcism is.
Right, I see.
To rob her of her powers, they gave her a little graze on the arm or a little stabbing to death. We don't know which.
A lot of grazes internally.
A lot of grazing right into the middle of your body. And it during the grazing / stabbing, we don't know which, she dug her witchy talons into Bayard the horse, causing him to leap high into the air. And when it landed, poof, it made deep hoof impressions, which could be seen for many, many years. And the area is now marked with a set of horse shows to show where they put an end to Old Meg.
A set of horse shows?
They put a sort of horseshoes.
Oh, I thought they did like a song and dance number or something.
And now sidekick Shirley Wallace, just juggling souvlaki. Now Rob Gandy doesn't think the witch explanation is a valid explanation, but you have to admit that Bayard's Leap is very, very close to the focal point of the Ruskington Horrors. I want to say attacks, the Ruskington Horrors appearances, and so inevitably people associate it with witches. A couple more explanations to go. It could be the ghost of people from a disappeared village. According to Lincolnshire Live, there are over 130 deserted medieval villages in the county of Lincolnshire.
Oh,
and
is this still
them,
selling trying to sell the place?
Yeah,
still
come and see 130 deserted medieval villages.
Come to Lincoln. These people didn't want to be there.
All right, everyone in the chat thinks I said horse shows instead of horseshoes. So based on that, I'm going to do a quick retake of that line.
Yep.
So Bayard leapt in the air, and when he landed, I'm doing it much worse this time round. When he landed, he left deep impressions in the ground, and that area is now marked with a set of horseshoes to show where they put an end to the witch.
They should put like a little show on with horses.
Stop saying horse shows. All right, stop. Everyone in the chat, stop saying you did. I'm not saying I didn't.
You're just saying it again. I'm
not on trial here. I wasn't arguing. This
isn't a horse trial. Or as Alasdair calls them, horse trials.
If I had genuinely believed I hadn't said it wrong, I wouldn't have done a retake, would I? The chat. So think about that. Why don't you think about that before you attack?
He's going to huff off. He's going to huff off.
I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk through that thing that isn't a wall.
He's going to walk at the wall.
I mean, isn't a door. Oh, I'm so tired. You've confused me. Stop saying I did. I assume some of the people saying you did haven't yet heard me getting annoyed about it and are going to apologize. I'm sure some.
Yeah, the apologies will come flooding in, I imagine, very soon.
Yep, I'm not seeing the apologies yet.
There's a lag.
There's a bit of lag, so I'll just get on with it while we wait for the apologies. Just some cry laughing, and lots of people saying you did.
Oh,
okay,
fine.
One of the deserted villages in Lincolnshire is called Dunsby, or Cold Dunsby.
I empathise.
Yeah,
cold in this shed.
If you enjoyed that place name, other nearby place names include Ashby de la Launde.
Oh,
Heckington Fen.
Oh,
yep.
That's an exclamation.
Strubby.
Strubby.
British comedy fans will recognise Boothby Graffoe.
Oh, that's where that is.
Yeah, that's where the comedian Boothby Graffoe takes his name from. Mannequin.
Oh.
Yeah, Mannakin, which is like a name for a witch, I think. Like a witch's little puppet. Mannequin. Hello, Mannequin.
It's the name for a thing in a shop that they put the clothes on.
Yeah, but spookier.
Thompson's
Bottom.
Hey.
Sot's Hole, Wasp's Nest, and of course, Martin.
Oh, poor Martin. And they abandoned Martin.
Not all of those places are abandoned. Those are just other nearby place names.
I'm guessing Wasp's Nest is.
I would hope
for
so.
obvious reasons.
But the locals there have spent so much time chewing up paper to build their little houses.
But someone just left a pot of jam on the outskirts of the town, and the next morning they're all gone.
So the remnants of Cold Dunsby are 0.2 miles away from the Ruskington turnoff. So basically, slap bang in the same place. Most people think that the Black Death is usually the cause of the abandonment of these villages. Basically, everybody died. But it might not have been the case for Cold Dunsby. Historic. Sorry, I just can't read my notes.
Did they get yellow tummy?
It wasn't caused by the general revolting state of Lincolnshire people's tummies. It was caused by Lord Carey, who evicted the last remaining occupants of Cold Dunsby in the mid to late 16th century, so that sheep could move in to be farmed.
Okay,
for
right.
Farming purposes, not just taking their jobs.
With their removal vans sort of looking... I mean, they would look sheepish no matter what. Can't help themselves.
But we don't know. Perhaps there is a plague pit where the Cold Dunsbyans relatives ended up before that happened. Who knows? Although the family who took over from the Carey family in that area were called the Death family. So that's quite spooky. Just a spooky name there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a very good explanation. I'm going to finish on Rob Gandy's preferred explanation for the general mysteries of the Ruskington Horror. That the sights, the spectres, the visions, the hallucinations are caused by the land itself.
Oh.
So Rob Gandy's hypothesis is that the landscape is the culprit. This area is so flat, so featureless, apart from the occasional lighthouse or Knight Templar preceptory, that when driving it, you could enter into a sort of trance brought on by monotony. Essentially, this argument is that the area is so boring that your mind invents a ghost because you're in Lincolnshire.
Wow.
And it's like, I am sick of how flat and boring this place is. What if a Greek man was here?
Saying, no, wait.
There he is. He's like, Malaka.
Oh.
It's a Greek swear word. Let's see.
Was it one of the worst swears?
Not that bad.
Okay.
But it's what a Greek might say if you tried to go into him with your car.
Okay. I think you've just demonetized us in Greece.
Oh, no. No drachma for us. They have euros now. They have euros.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be 40 to get that.
Yeah. Yep. So at the end of the road, there's a little in the area we're talking about. There's a sharp turning in the road, and it has reflective signs designed to alert drivers to slow down because there's a little turning in the road. And basically, Rob Gandy's theory is that the brain is sort of in a trance, and then it spots the light, and the switch from the trance-like state to the hyper-alert state, the brain interprets the danger, and it conjures up the image of the person running out into the middle of the road, or the ghost. And then when there's nothing there, they go, oh, well, you know, it definitely was a ghost then, because I didn't hit anything. So that's
probably Greek.
It just felt like a sort of Greek moment when I went through that thing. But Rob is open-minded enough that he leaves open the possibility that the seductive tedium and monotony of Lincolnshire allows people to enter a hyper-aware state in which they actually do see the ghosts that are really there.
Wow. Like when people go in those like sensory deprivation tanks.
And they start to see.
So basically,
people, yeah. There's a Greek guy in this tank with me. That's weird.
So Lincolnshire is basically a sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's actually quite good for you.
Not your tummy though. Staying too long. No.
A little bit of tummy
goes
trouble.
all mouldy.
Ugh, disgusting. So that is the story of the Ruskington Horror and its many possible explanations.
That is absolutely terrifying. Oh, boy. What was Madeley's favourite explanation?
Well, you won't be surprised to hear that Richard Madeley drops out of the story quite early on. Okay. Only Rob Gandy has gone back to really investigate and try and work out, and photograph the area and do all of that. Richard Madeley has really swept in early, named it the Ruskington Horror, and really just sort of moonwalked out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Someone put it out in the chat. Richard Madeley only told that story when Judy was on holiday, so he was just left alone with the broadcasting equipment and just started doing the Ruskington Horror. She probably just came back and said, "Richard, please stop it now." Come on.
So
wow.
I think the plan, James, is for you to share a little field report.
Yes.
And then when we come back, we'll do the scores.
Yeah, I think so. Idea? We're going to need a category, right?
I think we're going to need a category. Yes. So please start suggesting things that are based on things that we're not going to edit out.
So
like
horse shows.
Horse shows.
It's not going to make the edit.
Not a valid category because that's going to be edited out.
It'll be amount of horse shows, 0, no explanation. We'll move on.
Okay. Well, you think about that in the chat. And James, what have you been up to?
Well, I went to the lovely, the thick with Witches Village of Long Compton And
I think I've heard about that from a podcast.
Yes, it's a little throwback to something from series 1, all those episodes ago.
Series Uno.
Hi.
Yeah.
And you might remember this story, you might not. The new listener who just binged all our episodes in the last week will probably remember it. Everyone else, hopefully, this will be a little treat for you.
This is Long Compton, home of witches and other things. So over there, that is the Church of Long Compton. I think it's called the Church of St. Peter and Paul, or St. Peter and Paul's, St. Peter and St. Paul's Church, or Saints Peter and Paul. I think it's the actual saints from the Bible, not the fly away Peter, fly away Paul, you know, the children's rhyme, not that one. Anyway, so what happened back in 604 AD, there was a lord who would not pay his tithes. Back in those days, you had to pay 10% of your money to the church. He wouldn't do it. So the vicar was like, give me 10% or you're out. I want your tithes. I need your tithes. If you don't pay your tithes, I'm going to excommunicate you. And the Lord was like, do what you like, mate. I ain't giving you the money. But fortunately, St. Augustine was in town. St. Augustine, I don't know. Don't get me on pronunciation on this, all right? You know what I'm talking about. He was St. Augustine who became the first Archbishop of Canterbury. And he was in town, and the vicar was like, come and help me out, mate. I got this lord, he's not paying his tithes, he's still coming to church, he's still trying to do mass and all that. He's not paying his subscription fees, but he's sharing his Netflix account. That is probably going to become a dated reference. So St. Augustine was like, right, I'm going to do mass now, and anyone who's been excommunicated, get out. So the Lord was like, fine, I'll go. I know when I'm not wanted. And he left the church. And as he was going out through the churchyard, one of the graves opened up and out rose a ghost of an ancient Briton, which probably at that time was not that ancient, because maybe a couple hundred years or something. Anyway, St. Augustine was like, whoa, what's going on now? What are you doing? Where are you going? And the ghost was like, well, you just said anyone who's been excommunicated needs to go, needs to leave. And I tell you what, guys, I got excommunicated because I wouldn't pay my tithes. And now I'm burning in hell, but I'm also here as a ghost, and I'm getting out of the church. And St. Augustine was obviously thinking, this is not how I wanted this to go. I wanted to teach the guy a lesson, but I didn't want to raise the dead. How am I going to sort this out? And then he's like, who said this? Who was it who said this? Point me out his grave. St. Augustine went over, quickly raised him from the dead, said, you two, you've got an argument. Sort it out. You need to forgive this guy and we can all get on with our mass. He did it and they both crumbled to dust. The rich lord paid his tithes from then on. I guess he realised he didn't want that kind of hassle. But yeah, this is Long Compton. Lovely time of day, isn't it? It's golden hour. What a lovely hue. Given the circumstances, I'm really trying to find the church fund box so I can make a donation, because, well, we've seen what can happen. Oh, hello, here we go. It's a £5. There you go, lads. St. Peter and Paul.
Yeah.
Church of SS Peter and Paul. That's how we write saints.
Yeah. Yes. It's a church, not a boat, mate.
I like how you really acted that out, James.
What?
You sort of embodied the characters. You did like the two characters talking. It's good.
Oh, thanks very much. It's it's a little trick I call flip horizontal.
Oh. Did you invent that when you have two people talking? Was that you?
Yeah.
It's like Eisenstein inventing the very basics of screen editing. Well done.
Einstein, Alasdair.
Sorry, I've embarrassed myself.
Do you want to retake that?
I was sure before we did this that everyone would just say horse shows in the category, but actually now I feel bad because people have obviously pitied me and didn't suggest horse shows. Although I am seeing one person suggested horse shows.
I've seen some very good suggestions. I'm going to save it. I think I'll save it. Oh, there's a good one. Lay lies.
Lay lies.
Nice. That's nice. That is nice.
But I'm going to say the categories to you, James. So you can't save one.
Oh.
I am loath to explain the premise of our podcast to you again.
What? You do listen to
because I did the story. I have to present the categories. So if you've got a good one, you have to tell me what it is, so I can say it to you.
Oh, what about if I text it to you?
I've got my phone on. Don't disturb because I'm in the middle of something.
It'll break the stream. Yeah. You couldn't have made Leah up.
Oh, that's really great.
That's lovely.
Yes,
I've lost. Who said it?
Excuse me a minute.
Who said you couldn't have made Leah up? It was excellent. Oh, lay lion as well as a variant on lay lies.
That's really good. I'm sorry, my phone battery's about to die, so I need to plug my phone in.
Oh, you better get a power cord.
Yeah, I'm just looking for one. Excuse me.
Okay.
Phil,
we've got a backup.
I could have done during the old.
We've got a backup plan if we lose Alasdair. It's four of them. Each has a different horse, and it's the 4 horse shows. And what will happen? He's gonna not want to find the power cord if I keep doing this bit. I don't know. What would a horse do in it for a show? Counting, we know they can do that. Probably a show trial, perhaps. It's a sort of combination of the two. We did it. Okay,
I'm back. We did it. I didn't even hear what happens in that horse show. You were describing.
It was a horse show based riff.
Yeah,
it's probably for the best.
I'm sorry about that. I'm a bit tired. This has been a little bit chaotic. Thank you for your patience, James, and listeners.
That is absolutely fine. Should we score?
Are you ready to score?
I'm ready to score you.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh, nay lines. Nay lines.
That's a good category.
I think that. Yeah, that's gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna write that one down.
First category.
Go on.
You ready to dispense some scores?
Yes, absolutely.
My first category for you is supernatural.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
big time ghosts.
Yeah.
So many.
You could say there were 4 ghostly incidents.
Well, there was 4 stories.
Yeah, but
there's more than 4. There's 4 ghosts, but there's also a witch.
Well, there's 5 ghosts because one of the ghost stories featured a pair of ghosts. So from those 4 stories, you've got 5 ghosts.
5 individual ghosts. We've got Hanged Highwayman. We've got the Knights Templar. We've got ley lines.
Ley line.
We've got horse shows with all the entertainment value they bring.
Yes. You've got
sheep moving into a small cottage.
Yes. Yeah. You've got just sheep moving in, basically.
A sheep might look like a ghost.
So, just on the subject of moving, there's that company Knights of Yore that do the moving thing. There's like a bit, isn't it? There's a big. Maybe it's just around here. There's like maybe. I mean, it would make more sense if they were called Knights Move. They're a removal company, but I think they're called really Knights of Yore. It's like someone didn't quite get the jokes. Like they were trying to think of a name. Someone suggested Knights Move, and they're like,
yeah.
Well, what about Knights of Yore? Because that's more nighty.
Yeah, but though Knights Move does suggest they can only allow you to go down the street and then one way or the other.
Yeah.
So that could be confusing.
You get there in the end, I suppose. It would take a while. I just wondered if they were somehow related to the Knights Templar. Maybe they were like a side group, because all the they like the Knights Templar would build the place, and then the Knights move would get them in.
Would just bring the stuff in.
Yeah.
Probably all your holy grails is your
holies grail.
Penance, your grails, holy. Yep, all that business.
Bishop's Move is a removal firm, but that only allows you to move into the place across the street and one.
Whoops. So Supernatural,
massively.
Come
massively.
on.
It's got to be a 5. I've talked myself around.
Thank you. There's no way around it.
Absolutely.
It's a 5.
Absolutely.
Second category, category part 2, naming.
Well.
Rob Gandy. Doctor.
Don't leave him alone.
Doctor.
Thompson's
bottom.
The Thompson's bottom. Wasp Nest.
If you give this anything less than 5, I'm going to be like, oh, Heckington Fen, that's unreasonable.
Martin. Kevlar Whelan.
Kevlar, the Templars.
Christina Lee.
Wasp's Nest, which is how I would pronounce what's next during this recording. Well, I'm really quite tired and struggling to say things. Oh, James, Wasp's Nest. I can't even say it. I tried to say. I failed to say Wasp's Nest then.
Billy Connolly.
Charlie Connolly.
The Billy Colony.
It's where there's all.
Hello.
That's where Billy Connolly's were farmed.
Yeah, that's where
during colonialism.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the colony.
Yeah. I was mad. Yeah, I can't do it as well. All right.
No one can.
No.
The River Clade. Not really.
It's got to be a 5.
A 5 for names as well.
It's a hot 5 for names. There's so many names, and they were all almost
Yellow Bellies. We didn't even mention Yellow Bellies.
We didn't even mention the Yellow Bellies. The Yellowed Bellies.
Sorry, Ropes of Sand. That cough there was based on the character assassination in the chat. Ropes of Sand says, ABK, up to his old tricks, loaded up on lots of funny yet loosely connected names.
Hey, Ropes of Sand has obviously never listened to an episode I've presented when I've just done a list.
People are assuming that Rob Gandy's name is spelt differently to how it's actually spelled. Gandy, not Ghandi.
Like Avagandi.
Yeah.
Or like Aganda. But it's sort of even more colloquial version of that. Bob Gandy would be fine. That seems more playful, but to Rob Gandy just seems cruel.
Bob, are you going bobbing for Gandys, James? It's like you biting Gandy's bald head.
The trick is to suck. And then you get to keep the glasses.
Is that how you bob for apples? You have to suck the apple out instead of biting it.
I've not actually ever done it. I've literally just come up with that life hack right there.
Wow, we actually saw the genesis of a life hack.
I'm going to try it out. I'm going to get a load of Gandys and apples and see if I can do it.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I can't believe we actually saw a life hack being invented there.
The birth of a life hack.
My next category for you is explanations, because there were 5 of them.
There were 5 of them.
And I like to win.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But you
yes, but
definitely said that one of them made you angry.
It did make me angry
because you hated it so much.
Because I hate ley lines. Yes,
you hate ley lines.
I'm just a normal boy who hates ley lines.
Oh, is that because you were burned with the dowsing rods?
Yes, I was burned with dowsing rods. Not like
as a child.
No, not in. I wasn't branded with dowsing rods. I just I've told you my dowsing rod story, right?
Yes, you told it on
the
Sir Nabbas Giant episode. By the way, I've got a postcard here. I don't want us to get.
We can't be demonetized, so you have to use your finger to obscure the main event.
Yeah, but it's there. Oh,
James,
nope.
James!
I got confused over which was left and right. I got confused.
Oh, well. What a way to slide into hardcore pornography. This is awful.
Yeah, that's the Sir Nabas giant there.
I dread to think of what will happen when that hits the chat.
Oh dear.
From our point of view.
There we go. That was a genuine mistake. That was a genuine mistake. I apologise to anyone who was offended by
Richard and Judy-esque wardrobe malfunction.
Yes.
Not intentional.
15-foot high phallus there that I inadvertently broadcast.
There we go. It's hit the chat.
There we go.
The lag has passed. Oh dear.
Okay.
So my category for you.
I can't give you 5. I cannot give you 5 because you discounted one of them.
Yeah.
Your very own self. And so it's going to be 4. Got to be 4.
I angrily accept the 4.
Good.
And now it's time for the final category, aka Chategory, suggested by the law folk in the category. And I can't remember what it's called. It's the Richard Madeley one. What was it? You
couldn't Madeley it up, or you couldn't have Madeley it up.
You couldn't Madeley it up. Okay, I'll say it. I'll do it with a flourish. It'll be great. Final category, and this one is the Chategory from the law folk in the chat. The law folk in the chat. The show folk in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Final category. You couldn't Madeley it up.
Oh, lovely.
Or aka lie lines.
Oh, nice. Or nay lines.
Or nay lines. All of these good category titles suggested from the chat.
Yeah, you couldn't Madeley it up.
You couldn't make up a floating Greek man. I don't think you would make it up. You wouldn't make it up, even if you could make it up.
Who was saying
if someone said you were inventing a ghost, you wouldn't add also he was Greek.
No. And I like as well.
Why would you add that?
He's of the time as well, because he's from the late 90s and he's going talk to the hand.
Yeah. Mm.
So
yeah, exactly.
It's
if it had been a decade earlier, it might have been voguing. But
yes, yeah. Or wearing a t-shirt saying I'm with stupid. Mm-hmm. I'm with a stupider ghost.
Yes. Or Frankie
possibly.
Say relax.
Yes.
Relax.
Frankie says relax, I think.
Frankie says relax. So it's Frankie one person. So I was confused. I thought it was a group.
You know what? I don't know the origin of that t-shirt.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood. It's Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Is it related to Frankie Goes to Hollywood?
But it's not Frankie Go to Hollywood. That would be an instruction. Anyway. A little bit tired today.
Yes. So, mate, I want to see. My next thing that I'm going to do as soon as this live stream ends is look up all the footage of Richard Madeley talking about this very subject, and I think that is gonna keep me awake all night.
Yep.
So
yes, just like any sighting of Richard Madeley would.
Just the very idea of Richard Madeley really doing an investigation into this.
The very idea of Richard Madeley, full stop, is a bit much.
I think it's got to be 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5 for you.
It couldn't be a better crossover than Madeley and a field report. Who's his agent? Can we get him?
You want to get Madeley on? He's probably a little bit harder to get than Cantrell.
Yeah, that's true.
I think.
Maybe.
Venjadir suggests a contemporary Greek ghost might be dabbing.
Yes.
And I did that, which is not dabbing.
That is not dabbing. That's swearing the oath of ghost allegiance.
What is dabbing? Can you do dabbing for me?
I believe it was that one.
Isn't that what I did?
No, you put your hand on your heart and sort of raised your other hand.
That's what I'm doing. Do it again. Show it for me.
You were going to be the whole Greek ghost and nothing but the Greek ghost.
It's pretty there. Is that it?
No, you got to look into the inside of your elbow.
Yes.
Whilst pointing
if we're both dabbing, you can't tell me if I'm doing it. Am I doing it?
Your other hand, get your hand off your chest. The hand does not need to go on the chest at all.
What?
The hand, that hand goes off into the background. No, like a sort of, Imagine you're ashamed, but you're telling someone about a type of microphone stand. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, am I doing it?
Actually, I think it's a shame to be doing the Nazi salute, really, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what it's gone now. It's no longer a thing, I believe. This is
Oh, is that out of date?
Yeah, it's now out of date. I don't know what the latest thing is.
The only way to find out would be to go to Ruskington. Wait until you see a Greek ghost flossing or whatever it is.
Flossing is that's also old. I think.
It's also out of date.
Yeah. Well,
that's the end of the.
I mean, with a display of dabbing, trying to teach a grown man to dab.
There we go. Did it.
And as someone in the chat points out, the Nazi salute is very out of date. To be honest,
extremely out of date.
I don't think it's ever been in date. Great. What a way to end.
I hope you enjoyed Road Ghost, I hope you enjoyed Road Ghost, the Ruskington Horror.
And the 150th episode.
I hope I am able to get through a sentence without mispronouncing a word the next time we do this.
Yes.
I blame a bad night's sleep at an unnamed Cardiff hotel.
The bad sleep.
The bad sleep.
Love. Well, I'm going to do a last.
There was someone else's hoodie in the room when I got in there. There was just clothes from the previous person.
Are you sure? It was just
you think it was a ghost.
It was not a modern, a sort of a late 90s, early 2000s ghost, which would be a hoodie.
Well, if it was, I carried it down to the reception. Over my arm. Maybe I was the ghost.
Did they see you? Did they just see a floating hoodie?
I live in London, so I just blanked them whatever they said. I didn't respond. I was just like, talk to the hand.
It's so boring here in this hotel. I've just imagined an Alasdair
just imagined me doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, Merry 150th. I'm going to do another. I've got one final party popper. I'm going to try and hit.
Oh yeah, do it. Try
and hit the camera. Oh yes.
Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, nice.
Well, thanks very much for coming, Lore Folk.
Oh wait, people are yelling the word score. I think, did we forget to score that category?
Oh well, it was 5 out of 5 for. I can't believe it's not Madeley. You couldn't Madeley it up.
Some people are saying that you gave it 5. I'll just prompt you to give me a score. So, so do you have a number for you couldn't Madeley it up? I said that wrong. I said it wrong. Do you have a number for you couldn't Madeley it up?
Yes, I give it the number horse shows.
Ah, damn you!
Oh, I mean 5.
Now it has to stay in the edit. Now it has to stay in. All right. I've had some very sleepy fun. This feels like it's been a really weird drive along a monotonous Lincolnshire lane, and I've imagined the whole thing.
Yes, and that's what we'll tell them about the Sir Nabba slip.
Yes, just a little. You imagined it. Didn't see anything.
Nope.
James, do you want to plug the Patreon or anything?
Oh yeah, down here. There
it is.
www.patreon.com/LoremenPods, and there's loads of bonus episodes. There's some some episodes with guests that are longer than the actual episode that went out, e.g. Robin Ince. There's loads of extra stuff. I'm putting lots, all the outtakes that, to be fair, you've actually tuned in to see here on the YouTube.
Yeah, you've heard a lot of outtakes today. I think it was more outtakes than takes.
Yeah, it was cold takes, if that's the opposite of a hot take.
Yep.
And
tepid takes.
Ever so tepid. And you'll get to join the Discord, which is a bit like the chat, but up until now, less mention of horse shows.
Yeah, it's like the chat, but it goes on all the time.
It never ends.
You can do it whenever, when you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it whenever, when you want. That's the sentence I intended to say there.
That's
you can do it whenever, when you want. It is actually the slogan of the Discord.
You can do it whenever, when you want.
Yeah. You can do it whenever, when you want. I think I'm going to have a little nap.
Yes, I think so too. I think I will.
Okay, good for you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye,
And
everyone
thanks
in the
very much
chat.
to Kieran, who has been doing some wonderful production.
Thank you, Kieran. He made the pictures and the video come up and made all of this happen.
Yeah, all of this. And he'll make the music happen.
When will that be now?
Just